Views and opinions expressed by the guests of Sasquatch Experience do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the hosts, sponsors, or affiliates of the Sasquatch Experience. As always, listener discretion is advised.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something that looks like a man. I don't know what it was.
Back in 2005, we set out with one goal: to give voice to the mystery and those who pursue it. Sasquatch Experience Podcast has been your go-to source for serious Bigfoot discussion, where we separate fact from folklore, always grounded in research and respect. We've interviewed eyewitnesses, experts, and skeptics alike, because understanding Bigfoot isn't just about belief, it's about the journey. Nearly 2 decades later, we're still chasing shadows and sharing stories. The search never stopped. Welcome to the Sasquatch Experience.
Jesus Christ, you better... Tia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sasquatch Experience. September 29th, Monday, 9 o'clock. And you know what time it is, guys? It is Squatching time. So you got me, Sean Forker, James Baker, Henry May, Vance Nesbitt, and Matt Arner here. And we're going to have a good show tonight, guys. Going to be talking about, well, what Matt and I have been up to leading up to the premiere of our special project this week, Investigation Bigfoot. So, gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks.
Hey,
and welcome to the viewers and listeners.
Right. Good to have you
back.
back.
You were going to say welcome to the view. I'm like, I don't think we qualify.
Welcome back this week, though, Vance. Good to have you with us.
No, thank you.
Had a little technical difficulty, so once again tonight we won't have a Bigfoot bullhorn, but Vance is going to try to do something live for us at the bottom of the hour. So we'll make time for Vance, and a busy weekend over the weekend, guys, for Bigfoot events all across the Northeast. We had the Whitehall Bigfoot Festival. We had the 25th annual or 26th annual Bigfoot Conference from in Ohio with Don Keating. Just you name it, those conferences were going everywhere, and I'm at a loss to mention them all. So if I forgot any, I do apologize. And we still have more lined up for the year. There's one coming up. Our buddy Glenn Baruch is going to be at it on October 11th. That's going to be in White Deer Community Park in New Columbia, PA. Glenn's going to be speaking on Bigfoot there for the first ever Bigfoot and Bluegrass Festival. So we got some events coming up in the pipeline, guys. And folks, check them out, because you don't know where any of us will end up showing up. Sometimes it just happens. So there we are.
Speaking of Don, he has a new book out, which he was selling copies of it at the conference, from what I understand.
Right.
And he has a book. It's $30 plus ship with shipping and everything. It's $30, and you just pay. You send to his PayPal, eobic@yahoo.com.
There you go.
The book is called The Buckeye Bigfoot 2.
Oh, look at that, a sequel. The eobic@yahoo.com. eobic@yahoo.com. You cannot offend Don with cash, so by all means, buy his book.
Okay.
Which is completely different than the EIEIO.
Right.
Also, I want to highly recommend David Zegan's book, Casting Bigfoot Evidence, a Guide. I read that one. Excellent book. Really good.
In fact, it's so good. Henry was out there casting his own evidence in the backyard. So it got him outside and doing some preparation. So very good, Henry. Glad you put those books out there. Thanks for sending that out. We're going to have some interesting guests coming up over the next few weeks. Next show, Lyle Blackburn will be joining us. So mark your calendar, folks. Lyle Blackburn from Boggy Creek will be joining us. We'll be talking about Lake Worth Monster and other things. So that'll be a good show to talk about. Forgive me, I'm a little bit of a cotton mouth tonight, a little dry. Squatch Out Hunger, folks, is something that we need to jump back on and get the hang of. We have 60 days to meet our goal, and we're about a third of the way there. So, Squatch Out Hunger, go to our website, SasquatchExperience.com, click on the banner, and go make your contributions. Let's help feed hungry families, especially as we get ready to go into Thanksgiving. Can you guys believe we're this close?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I know.
Officially in fall. We have now gotten out of the summer. We're going to be turning up thermostats, and it's, well, my favorite time to be squatching. So it's a great time of year for many, but, you know, I'm going to miss the summer a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Just going to miss a little bit this year, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So what else everybody else got before we get into the topics for tonight, or the topic for tonight that I think everybody wanted to join up and hear about? Anybody else got anything on the hook?
Oh, I'm on the hook for a lot of things, but not this related.
Matt, we did have the town hall this weekend that you hosted.
We did.
And how'd that go?
And
Talk about that a little bit.
so, the town hall this year, we went with Gwen Purcell. Gwen and her husband Mike came up, along with my new best friend, Tucker, the hound dog.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. And he was my buddy the whole weekend. But we got up there Friday. We did some scouting. Checked out a couple areas. I showed Gwen and Mike the area. And then we did go to a place. Did we go somewhere Friday? I'm not sure if we did. I think we may have just stuck around the campground. Saturday, it was a very stressful day because, you know, we're all getting ready. We don't know what to expect. So we ended up getting probably, I'd say about 25 people, not knowing that one of the persons that was there was actually a state rep from the area who wanted to check out the Bigfoot presentation. So we were very, very welcoming with that. We didn't know until afterwards. We did have a group of, there was probably about 10 guys that came in. They were from Potter County. They were big coyote hunters, so they spent a lot of time out in the woods. They did not want to report anything, but they were very attentive, and they stayed throughout the entire presentation, which, again, that it really makes me think that maybe, you know, there's a reason why they were there. So we did, Gwen's presentation was fantastic. A lot of the people really they were just, you know, so into you know, her experiences and the way that she was able to present them, and she went over the equipment that she uses. Her presentation went fantastic. Mine, I'm a little more drier, so I worked on the experiences within a 5 to 10 mile radius of that area, which we're getting more and more every day. And we ended up at the end having two people, two different. It was a husband and wife on the one side, and then a lady that came to us. She was at another table that gave us reports. So the one is actually fairly close to the campground, and these are all Class B. No one has seen anything, but both him, his wife, and his granddaughter have had experiences. They back up against the mountain, and where their camp is, they may be out at night and they hear something going through the water in the creek behind their house. They have found prints. They have had noises come through that they couldn't explain. This guy's a lifelong hunter, so he knows coyotes. the owls, the Fisher cats, all the different calls. He said this was not anything he's heard of. So he said his granddaughter was out there not that long ago. It was over the wintertime with some college friends, and they had heard something coming through the water, and they saw a trackway. They did not want to follow it. So, anyways, that was a fairly decent report. I'm going to keep in contact with this gentleman. Another report came from the Allegheny National Forest, and this one here really kind of hit home for me. So this husband and wife, they had been out on the ATV trail outside of Marionville, and they had gone down a trail. They said that there was actually a gate across. It was open for horses, but not ATVs. So they stopped their ATVs. They decided, hey, you know what? We're gonna take a little walk. So as they were walking, they ended up finding a trackway, and these prints that they found, I mean, they were probably more than like a foot and a half, or I guess 1.5 size, the width of her husband's boot, and at least another 4 or 5 inches bigger. So we're talking probably about a 15-inch track, probably about 7 inches wide, 8 inches wide, and it was consistent. Had a very good stride to it, and it didn't go along the pathway, but it kind of went diagonal to it, which is important because if you watch the series, that's something that's important on one of the encounters there. But as I'm looking at the print, and I went and grabbed a photo of the print that I had found up in the Allegheny National Forest, which was probably about 40 miles away, but the prints were very similar. You could see the toes. They had that wide, just that wide, first half of that foot, and it did narrow more towards the heel. But looking at those prints, they were similar, very, very similar. So they do have it up on their Facebook page. I told them after I came back to Civilization, I try to, I'm gonna reach out to them, and they do have it on their public page. So I should be able to find that over the next week or so, and we'll compare notes with the ones that I found. So anyways, that wasn't the end of our excitement. And what we ended up doing was we were trying to find our friend's camp. And this was around 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Me, Gwen, Mike, and Tucker, the hound dog, we all jumped in my truck and went down the road where this gentleman's cabin was. The only problem was he didn't have a sign out front, and there was 2 camps. He said, well, look for these signs, and there was about 3 or 4 driveways. We didn't want to go down the wrong driveway. So
yeah, not there, folks. That's not something you want to
do. yeah, not in Potter County.
No, sir.
So we ended up, I said, well, you know what, let's take a drive. We went up to the top of Nelson Run, which is where our camp, the campsite is. We went up there, did some wood knocks out at an area that's it goes into a valley. We had nothing. We had a couple owls here and there, but that was about it. So I said, you know what? I said, let's go to one of my favorite spots. And if you watch the STM series, the Appalachian Bigfoot Files, myself and Sean were with Alex Petikoff, Brian Garvey, Mike Lucci, am I forgetting anyone? Mike Ann, up at the Montour Road. And if you remember up at Montour Road, there was that one campsite with the big view. You go out there and you have that entire view of the valley. We were lucky that weekend that no one had rented that. And so we went up there, and we couldn't stay overnight, but we could at least, stay there and visit for a little bit. Earlier that day, we were driving around, and I was showing Gwen and Mike the area, and this is something that we talked about, Sean. We see a group of sport bikers. The guys on they're like dirt bikes, but they're modified for street use. Very
Right.
popular up there. Yes. So they were behind us. I pulled over. They got in front of me, and we all gave each other a wave, and we went on our way. Well, here I said, Gwen, you guys got to see this lookout. So we go to the lookout, and who's there? The bikers. And of course, Gwen, who I love her bravado. I love her just the way she talks to people. She goes up and she was like, "Oh, have you guys been here before?" The guy's like, "Oh yeah. We live close by." "Oh, have you had anything weird happen?" "You talking about Bigfoot?" "Oh, heck no." So it's that machismo, bravado that that people will have, especially in that area. They're not going to admit,
Right.
But here we got up there around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I said, well, you know what, we'll kind of settle in. And at least with that particular spot, if it's more call blasting, you don't have to worry about having the red light. Just don't have bright lights, but we don't have to worry too much about having just red lights on or going lights out at all. So I figured, well, this is fairly decent. We'll do some call blasting. Maybe we'll get a response. So I did an Ohio howl, and both Gwen and I heard a response, but it was so far away. So I figured,
Which we've had happen to us up there too. The last time we were up there, we had those distant calls, right?
Distant calls. Well, we were sitting there, and I would give it, 10, 15 minutes. I said, all right, let me try something else. So tried wood knocks, nothing. We did a whoop. And if you see like the, just how steep this drops off, it goes into about 4 different little hollows, valleys. The one thing was that when I was doing the initial call and the whoop, you hear that echo throughout that whole valley.
Vance,
so
it reverbs like you would not believe through these peaks. Like it's outstanding how far that sound travels.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, around I guess it was around 11:45, I said, well, you know what, nothing's really going on. Let me try one more Ohio howl. So I go up there, I let it rip.
The
and
howl,
I'm sitting there.
Fart.
Yeah, when I let the exactly. So I'm sitting there and I have my hands up, by my ears, just seeing if I hear any sort of response. And Gwen, the puppy dog, and Mike were sitting back by a picnic table over there where the campsite is. Probably from about 300 to 400 yards away, we heard the most violent tree break that I haven't. I mean, there was no wind. There was no rain. I mean, we had rain earlier in the week, but everything was relatively dry. And I just heard this tree. You could hear the initial crunch, and then you just heard this gigantic crack. And this was coming from, again, maybe 3 football fields away for how that sound was. You could tell it was close. It was on our side of the valley. So I have an idea on where it came from. I got asked a couple of times, why didn't you go down there
I asked
check
you.
it out?
I mean, to be fair, I asked
Yes.
you the same question.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we go in there, if you see this place, you need to people that do any sort of search and rescue up there, they're going technical. You need to bring ropes with you
Yes,
to get
this is
down
true.
into this valley. It's very, very steep. There's not many easier ways to get in there. There's one way I saw on the map, which was to go at the very top of where the hollow is, and just to follow a stream down probably about a mile into where it flowed into the mainstream. And there's an area down there. I think it was called Pogue's Hole, which is the landmark. I don't know how it got that name, but that's generally the area. So on Sunday, I actually went to go get my my trail cam that was 3.5 miles in the woods, and I said, "Well, do I want to do that, or do I want to go hike down there?" I really need to get this trail cam because it's been out there pretty much all summer, so I wanted to go get that. The next trip I go up, I have a spot where I can park, head down to Pogue's Hole, and give that a walkthrough, see if there's anything there, see if I could see where that tree is. But that again, Gwen, Mike, and I, when we heard that tree break, that was, I mean, that completely that was not a tree knock. This was something violently ripping a tree apart, and it was fairly close. The other thing too is that Tucker, the hound dog, he started acting really strange after that. And there was one point where he wanted to, you could tell he was starting to get a little nervous, but then he started pulling Gwen towards the woods. And at that point we were like, all right, none of us are, are inclined to go hiking down this ravine. So let's, try and get Tucker back and, go back during daytime. So again, we're going to be planning another trip up there to check out that particular area just for any sort of evidence that we may have. On the other side of the valley, there's no road access, and it's a whole nother ridge with there's not even like logging roads back there. So we're going to try and get a hike
Matt,
in over that way.
I don't know if you can see it, but I've got the area pulled up on Google Earth here.
Yes.
And Pogue's Hole's down here near Wharton. So and this is Google Earth right now, so anybody can get on there. And just to give you an idea of look at the valleys and the mountains that you're talking about, throughout this place. And they don't look that dynamic on here, but, there's some elevation change.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So this is the area that Matt and I, without giving a exact location, this is it, guys. Like this area is pretty.
It's pretty rugged,
right?
I'm kind of giving you an overview. It is, and then when you do your diagonals as the crow flies, it goes right into the Allegheny National Forest.
Correct. So we were actually talking
area that Matt and I talk about. Right. It all lines up.
Yes. And it's funny because
Gwen
and I were talking about this, like the Allegheny National Forest. How many of us go out there? Like a lot of us. A lot of our friends are, we have the Andersons that live out there. Amy Boo's out there all the time. Gwen goes out there. A lot of our other friends and researchers, when they come out, when you go to the Allegheny National Forest, and I've had experiences there too. It doesn't seem all that, crazy, or it's. You get some vocalizations, you get some tracks. What we had, whatever was there on Saturday night, like that was just plain like pissed off, angry. You don't run into that in the Allegheny National Forest. It seems like they're almost like hippie Bigfoots, like they just want to go out there and have to do their thing, and
you said it sounded like it ripped this tree in half. That's what you
Yes.
said to me the next morning. Like you sounded like something
Yeah.
pulled this tree apart.
Yes.
That's definitely
Yeah.
not something that's happy.
Yes.
And I guess the point I was trying to connect it to, Matt, is what we've been running into has been a lot different lately than what we've had experienced in the past.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely. And I do think in one theory I came up with is we had talked about this in a couple different sites. We don't know what kind of calls we're doing.
No.
We don't know what that communication is, but I'm more inclined now that the Ohio howl is definitely an aggressive call. It's probably a territorial marker or something saying, "Hey, I'm here,"
Right.
and so I kind of think that the wood knocks, the whoops, different other vocalizations, they're not as aggressive as the Ohio call. I think the Ohio call is basically like, "Hey, come here," I want to fight you, and I think Saturday night that's almost what we got, if we would have stuck around.
And we're kind of learning this the hard way. And we've talked many times that one of the problems you and I both have with call blasting is we don't know what it's saying.
Correct.
And like we have a gap there. So why utilize something we don't understand? But the last several times we've used sounds and we've used the Ohio howl, we've had some interesting results. And that kind of leads us into the what we can talk about here before the release of Investigation Bigfoot that, was coming up probably this week. Our first episode will be coming out for everybody to view. And I hope they enjoy it as much as we enjoyed doing it.
Yes, absolutely. No red circles either.
No red circles. Just say no to red circles.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Vance, Henry, Baker, any questions before we go into this or anything you guys want to add?
I'm just fascinated by the terrain because as you're explaining it to me before Sean pulled it up on Google Earth, I have a pretty vivid imagination of exactly the conditions that you were in, on top of which it was 11 something at night?
Yes.
Yeah. So your footing could have been not good.
Well, and listen, that road itself, many of the roads out that way, there's no way to turn around. The only way to get out of there is backing up those roads. So,
no guardrail.
No guardrail. In fact, the only thing stopping you is a tree from probably going over the edge. So it's honest to God, like the more we talk about this and showcase this area, the more trepidatious I get about it because I don't want people to get hurt. Because I do feel that people are going to try to get into this area and they're going to hurt themselves because you're just not prepared for it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that we emphasized. We all emphasized with our town hall meeting is to go out prepared. But there was two things I wanted to add. First is I took both you and James out to the to where that lookout was.
Right.
And it's very similar to the where James had looked when we did the that one call blast from the pipeline. That it's a straight drop down, and just not. Yeah. So that's what we're kind of dealing with in terms of topography there. And again, during the nighttime, it is not, I would not be walking, you'd stay on the roads or if you're going to be out in the woods, be on a place where that it's mostly flat because it could go from, that to all the way down, 100-foot drop without you knowing about it. The other thing too is, and again, I don't want to give too much, but we did have tree knocks, very, very, very strong tree knocks that were recorded. I'd probably say less than 10 miles from there in the same general area. So, but I don't know if I'm saying too much yet.
Right. Vance, it's the bottom of the hour.
Uh-oh.
It's time for you to do it live. We're gonna
Do it live.
Yeah.
News team, assemble.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
We're gonna do it live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have any opening comedic remarks for you. I did come across a report, and this is what we're going to talk about that I found interesting, and I'll wrap it up at the end of this report. This happened back in May of this year, and the witness gives this description as to what his encounter was. I haul oil from the well pads to Steubenville, Ohio. I've been running this route 2 times a day, Monday through Friday, for the past 10 months, so I know this route really well. There is an 84 lumber yard business below the highway. There are railroad tracks behind that 84 lumber store. I was northbound on Route 7, crossing the bridge. I looked out my driver's side window, which I'm assuming he means, his door window. And in the middle of the tracks was a very large Bigfoot with brown hair from head to toe with black or muddy hair on its chest. The Bigfoot was looking up the hill. I immediately called out on the CB radio to get someone else to look to confirm what I just saw. I was driving at about 55 miles an hour or so I didn't have a whole lot of time. The 2 things that stood out was it was totally brown hair except that dark chest. The other is the size of its shoulder cap on its arm. It was easily the size of a basketball. After getting my second load from the well pad, I arrived at Tidewater in Steubenville to unload the rail cars. I was able to stand in the railroad tracks next to the oil rail cars. They're very large, and I was able to put my hand 8 feet up in the air next to the rail cars. This Bigfoot was taller. I'm 6'6", and I must put this Bigfoot no smaller than 9 feet tall. At first, I was thinking it was a dude in a suit or a hunting outfit, but no, that couldn't be. Everything is green, and it was turkey season. You don't wear all brown and long hair suit to go hunt turkeys. What I saw that day is still in my mind. What I find interesting is the fact that this happened less than 45 miles from Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. And that's what I've got.
Well, welcome. Thank you, Vance, for that. See, we wanted to make it more authentic, so we figured we shut off the cams and Oh, damn it! That's what I forgot with sound effects. All right, we'll do it next time.
Well, the worst part was there was a second train while he was saying he was near the train thing, and I was like, "Oh, if I can only unmute."
Yeah.
Oh, what's up? Henry sounded like that governor from Alabama down there. Well done, Henry. All right. Yeah. Anyhow, guys, so we brought everybody on to talk about the upcoming show we've got. And Matt and I talked, and we're going to invite the rest of the team on to talk about it after the last episode. But we wanted to kind of give a little primer up to it because they were fantastic to work with. First of all, we have to say
loved it. Yeah.
Courtney and Heather and Aaron were great. And that's the first time I got to spend, a lot of time with Aaron. I met him in passing at conferences, but it was more of a handshake and a, hey, how you doing? As opposed to this, spending a lot of time with each other. We're really roommates for about 4 or 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
Which was,
yep.
It's a different experience. We should have called it. Yes. We should have called it Bigfoot Big Brother, to be honest with you, because we really had a lot of fun, a lot of hijinks, and hilarity, and of course our newest scripted researcher Bambi LaRue that will have to make a debut at some point. And but while we had fun, and it was great being with those guys. And Matt, Matt, you coined your famous saying, "We came for the Bigfoot and stayed for the supper."
We did. We
yeah,
did.
it was really good. We had just a wonderful time.
I was actually surprised that not only are Courtney and Heather wonderful cinematographers, but they were also great cooks.
Right.
That first night, having that chicken pot pie, I mean, that brought me right back to home. So,
well, I have to tell you, I don't think they give themselves enough credit with the work that they do.
correct.
First of all, I can't stand still long enough to, I think I was going to turn Courtney to a hunchback with her having to carry all that equipment. And because I move a lot, it doesn't look like I move a lot, but I move a lot. And to nail me down to keep me in the shot, I'm sure is a chore, but it's a different experience for us because, we're used to being on a fixed camera, talking about this, not taking folks out into the woods and taking them to places of sighting locations. Well, one of the things I hope people take away from this, and then I'll let you talk here a little bit more about your experience with it, that the things we can talk about was, it was a privilege for me to be able to share some of our friends with the Small Town Monsters crew, and that we'll be able to share with an audience that's far greater than maybe we even get with the podcast, that are going to kind of make their debut into the Bigfoot, community at large, over this little locality, because these are folks that don't really go to conferences, and they really spend a lot of time doing the research or staying local. We're getting them a little exposure outside of that, Matt, Vance, and guys, so they can, kind of show the world just the wonderful people we have here in Pennsylvania that are doing this research.
Yeah, definitely the people that have the boots on the ground, and I'll name them right now, like Jeff and Julie. I mean,
right?
Just fantastic people. They are out 5-6 nights a week.
They are hands down, no bullshit. They are out there a lot. Yes,
and they know that forest. They know those sounds. They really the times that I've been with them, and I'd say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at this spot. No. We're going to go over this way. This is where, we may have heard some wood knocks. We may have heard a call. Let's go out, this way. And man, I'll tell you, they've been spot on, and they are the nicest people. Like I really, just going to everyone, and I'm going to tell you guys a little story, back scenes, I guess you could say for this. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, they were in a bad car crash while we were filming. Thankfully, they weren't injured greatly, but my mother-in-law, she went, she was at the hospital, and everyone was just a wreck. And I asked my wife, I said, do you want me to come home right now? And she said, well, she was like, everyone's okay. The car's going to need, obviously the car's going to be totaled. They're going to need, my assistance with some things. Can you come home tomorrow? Yeah, absolutely. I let Sean know. I let Aaron know. I let Heather, Courtney, and just Sean expressed it was like a big brother, but it was almost like, they were like family to me in that time that we were there. And then on Saturday, we did some filming up in the Allegheny National Forest, and then we met up with, for the second time, Jeff and Julie. Gwen was there, and I'm like, you know what, just the whole positive, energy I got from them was just really, really great. And I'm like, you know what, this is my tribe here. Really, it made me feel good. It made me, feel better when I was on my way home. And of course, my wife called with the good news that, hey, you know what, everyone's, back home, everyone's fine. And, we're just going to be happy to see you. So, just the camaraderie that, really team building that we built up over those days of shooting was amazing. Because, like I said, I was really grateful for for the support that they gave me, when we found everything out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first concern was Matt and his family, and we can always film, and I can run with it. I'm good at pivoting, but then also, we had. Again, Gwen, who's, really been a godsend for you and I lately, was able to step in and kind of fill in on that second night that you were supposed to be there with us. She stepped in and filled that up well. And it led for some very interesting, which I think is going to be some very interesting stuff I think folks will enjoy for this series. But that dynamic, and I think that just goes to show about how we are as a team in general in real life outside the cameras, is that you, me, Gwen, and a lot of folks, we just work well together. And part of the reason why we is that those relationships that we have, that we've been fostering over the years, and being dependable with one another. It makes a big difference. And that's what I really wanted to come through on this. They asked us on the STM Live last week, what's one of the things you want people to take away from this? And one, I think I answered it okay. But as I think about this more, to me, Small Town Monsters has always been about telling stories about the people involved in Bigfoot research, not just so much about the Bigfoot research. And even though only a small cast of who we work with on a daily basis, Matt, we're able to share those friendships and that camaraderie with a larger audience. And I think folks are going to be there with us in the moment and feel that. And, the thing that has taken me back is, mainly because I do a lot of self-deprecating, is the respect a lot of folks have for me and the respect I have for them. To hear these folks say just the nicest things about you when, you're bringing them on, introducing them to people, and, trying to help them build their networks and just working with each other, and the great things you say, like it is touching, and it's great to see that genuine respect we have for one another and be able to put that out there for the world to see. Because it's important. The Bigfoot world is a lot more than people backstabbing each other to get ahead. It's, we really do work like a family. We really do. In fact, I think mostly through the episode, you hear me call Gwen sis all the time. Like she's she's the big sister I never had and always wanted. I think I call her that several times throughout the filming. So, I mean, that's a genuine thing. It's not for cameras. That's just how we really feel. And I want people to take that when you watch this, it's genuine. Nothing happens is premeditated. Nothing that we film is for the camera. It's all legitimately as it happens, or what's going on with us in the moment as we're talking about it. It's really good, and it's really genuine, and it feels good, I think.
There was no prep. And when I say there was no prep, there was no okay, we want you to say this or we want you to do that. It was like, hey, here's the microphone, go for it, and talk to us. And that was something I was, I really, I was thinking that, they're probably going to have little, things for us to build up. But no, it was, hey, the big thing was getting those microphones on. And that was it. We were. That was the only difference between what we do in regular investigations in real life versus what's on TV. That was about it.
We had more cameras with us. That's the other thing. That's all. Yeah. And we had to remember to shut the microphones off when we went to the bathroom. That was the other thing.
Yes. Yeah. There was a few times. Hopefully they didn't get me when I had to go in the woods, but yeah, I mean, like I said, and the one thing is, I was looking at the one picture that you had from the screenshot, and I'm like, you know what, we actually don't look that bad on camera, but then I'm really self-conscious about that. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to come across like, a big oaf or something like that. And we actually came across, I think.
To you.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's built in. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love it.
That's so funny. Anyhow, no, you're right. I was worried I keep calling myself a forest whale because I'm a lot bigger on camera than I anticipated that I would be. But If anything, it lightens us up so we can take our quest to be fit more seriously, Matt.
Absolutely. So, and there was a couple references to the show. They asked, and I don't want to give too much away, but there may have been somebody that's on this panel right now that they asked, who do you see as somebody important in Bigfooting? So, that'll come out in the episodes.
And the amount of times we reference James Baker for someone who's not on the program, there is a huge Baker, unless they eliminate it, there's a huge Baker presence throughout the entire weekend.
He was there with us in spirit.
He was.
Yeah, but you didn't. They gave you an open mic and said, "Say what you want." I could see why I wasn't invited to the
It is for a family
you bastards
audience.
probably ate s'mores too.
No s'mores. Actually, Matt and I were really well behaved when it came to diet. We were really good. The ladies fed us well. We had a great time. Lots of fluids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing, for me, the creepiest moment was being in the cabin itself.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure Sean could attest that. Our room, we had a room up in the attic, and then there was a separate room that was separate from the bedroom there that apparently had this little tiny creepy door, and there was things in there from the past occupants. So we closed that, and all I remember is Sean saying, "If that ever opens, if that opens in the middle of the night, I'm out of here."
Yeah.
And then I broke the step.
Matt,
sounds like the death stairs.
Matt, you almost died getting into that.
I did twice.
Matt, the first night we get to the Airbnb, and Matt and I are up in the loft, and Matt's taking his stuff up the steps. Matt hits one of the top steps and lunges forward on this short little I guess it's
landing
that goes into our room. Well, the other side of the landing is a banister and then open air in the ground into the living room. Matt almost bit it. I honest to God thought he was done, because I got up I was going to stop him, but I got up. And I'm like, shit, this is not going to be the way we want to do this.
Yeah.
But
then on the way, and then when I was leaving, I was coming down the steps with all my stuff, and I heard a creak, and I'm like, "Ooh, that doesn't sound good." And then it went crack, and it was one of the original steps in the cabin. But
to be fair, that was already weakened while we were using it. I mean, it was already in poor shape.
Yes.
No, don't send us a bill. That was already in poor shape, and. But my God, it was made of American chestnut, first of all. So if anybody knows, it's functionally extinct. It's not totally extinct, but it's functionally extinct.
So you can't get those nuts?
They're starting to hybridize it again, but it is, as a species, it's functionally extinct. Another OSHA violation. Yeah. But what we're talking, and so, I mean, this all leads to the ambiance of the cabin is literally just a little fancier than something that from the Evil Dead. The only thing missing was a Necromonicon in there. I mean, but it was pretty. But I tell you what, it was fun. It was cozy. Yep. We did have a great time. That door stayed shut the entire weekend. You couldn't lock it, but it was out there in the middle of God's country, Pennsylvania, up there off, I mean, honestly, I can't wait for everybody to just check it out and see it, because the location's perfect. And, we didn't have to go very far. That's the thing. I mean, the back of the cabin really empties out into the, what was it? Cook Forest, into the wilderness. Cook Forest, right.
Yep. Yeah, it just I think about a mile and a half away from the cabin. If you walked in a straight line to the north, especially to the northwest, there's nothing there until you get down to the Clarion River.
Right.
And the river is just, I mean, that's all wilderness area as well.
So, while we getting into the documentary a little bit more, we do take you to areas where there's sightings. Matt and I do take you into our research area just a little bit, which the thing that amazes me, and I'm still tickled by it, is, there's Matt drives and real world drives, but there's also to get anywhere, and I don't think they appreciated that until they were there, is to get anywhere in that part of Pennsylvania, you have to drive.
Yep.
It's not just a 5-minute walk to somewhere. I think it's like 20 minutes to get to a gas station for the most part. It's remote. And, I know folks out there probably live a lot more remote than that. Maybe some folks listening to this program tonight, but when you're from, more of a suburban metropolitan area, right, you have those, you are definitely way out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I think the closest Walmart to us was like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And and there was absolutely nothing else there. So, but, and then I kind of got, they were kind of ribbing me on the live show when we were doing that, because to me, to go out and drive an hour and a half, to the west, to me, that's like a normal regular drive, but to them, they're like, oh my God, it's an hour and a half. But when we drove, though, the time went by really fast because we were joking, we were talking, we were telling stories. It really was a great time. So I was the official chauffeur driver. You can see my truck featured in the sizzle reel, and I'm sure in some of the episodes.
I love it when Matt drives, first of all, because I can keep an eye out for things, and I have a good eye, and we just love to shoot the shit, Matt and I, for one, and just having those guys there being a part of it, just like I said, it was just natural. It was like them just being along for the ride. I don't know if Seymour makes it. The elk, remember? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if he makes a camo in any of the videos, but we had to stop Aaron from getting out to trying to get video of it. And then when he saw how fast it just moved across the road, he cooled down and decided to stay in the truck because it
was about 15 yards from our truck. And this was a big, I think it was like a 6x7 or a 7x7 elk. And he was just out there. He was, he was doing his thing, looking for some ladies, and having one of us go out probably, especially when he went to come in our direction, would not have been a good. Idea.
Definitely not. But then the other thing that struck me odd is the morons that were just flying down that road. Like we're parked alongside the road, and there's this big, bull elk out there, and some guy just drives past us like 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. So it was great. It was great to have everyone there and everyone in the car. I really wish, and I'm going to say this, I really wish we had James with us. Hopefully, we were kept pushing him for the next one. We got to get James out there. We got to get Vance. We got to get Henry. We got to get Vance. Get the whole crew out there.
Yeah.
But it's just awesome to to be involved with this. So
yeah, definitely a great time. Some of the things I'm really excited for folks to see. Like I said, we don't want to give too much of it away, but I think you'll dig it. I did, and I'm a tough critic, but we really poured our heart into this, and we hope you folks, and especially bringing our friends Jeff and Julie along, some other guest researchers, and then of course, later on down the line, the Ruperts.
Yes.
Some of my favorite people, we're going to bring them on the show too. In fact, we're going to be doing some things maybe at the end of October if we can fit something in, Matt, with the Ruperts, because they do this thing called the Paranormal Griddler. And what they do is, while they're talking with witnesses and everything, they're making them dinner on the Blackstone. Yes. And so, what better way to connect with people than feeding them, huh? It doesn't get more heartfelt than that. And Dave's a hell of a cook. So
yes. That's one that, Vance, I would say drive on over from Illinois, come out to Pennsylvania, because Dave is an awesome chef there. He will make us a great meal. Okay. And yes, that would be fantastic.
Well, when he's on the show, if he's on, I'll make my reservations then.
There you go.
Awesome.
Hey
Awesome.
guys, and while we're talking about food, if you become a Patreon for as little as $2 a month, there you can also take a look at some of Matt and I's big eatings,
Yes.
as
Yep.
we talk about local establishments. And big news: we're getting ready to officially make our first proclamation to a restaurant in
Yes.
Pennsylvania as
Yes.
one of the official preferred restaurants of choice for the Sasquatch Experience and podcast and research team. So it'll be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I hope these folks there really get a kick out of it. I'm pleased as pie with it, and I think folks will like that as well.
Oh, I think
Nice.
they'll love it. Yeah.
Henry, Vance, James, any questions for Matt and I about this? We've been talking now and talking.
Well, that's the whole point.
Right?
And,
Well,
you know, I looking forward to the entire series, and that'll put image to the discussion that we had tonight once you
yeah.
watch it. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, without giving too much away, and I know y'all don't want to give.
damn it. We finally get him to ask a question and he freezes.
I know.
Damn
My
it.
God, no! We've lost Henry.
Henry.
Oh.
Henry, come back.
Henry. Clear. Oh,
Oh,
thought it would work.
Brian says Aaron doesn't
Well-
want any moose, and that's true.
You gotta watch that. Not all the wild animals are as nice as Flappy.
no,
Right?
no, yeah.
So go ahead, James. You said you were going to ask something. Did you want to
Oh
ask
no,
something?
I just wanted to,
for the-
congratulate you guys on making big time there, and
Big
and
time.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean,
We did.
and that you got to tell your stories and things like that, because that's the reason I like going to the conferences. Like, a lot of it is just listening to the after stories and stuff like that, and we lost a lot of good people lately that used to really hang with us, and like that was one of the high points of my time. Was I would sit somewhere, just sit at a table or something, and then somebody would come over and go, "Hey man, it's whatever," and we wouldn't even talk shop, but just to hear some of their stories from the you could tell the honesty of, and whether you believe or not, you could tell the person talking wasn't doing it out of trying to trick you or malice.
No.
He genuinely wanted to tell you a story, or he wanted to hear what yours was. I think, and I'm glad that you guys got that moment. Maybe next time I will go. I don't know. Maybe I get it. I get the memo early.
Well, not to bring this down, but we did lose another member of the Bigfoot community over the weekend. And from Squatch America, Scott Violette, his wife Hannah is in our thoughts. There is a GoFundMe going on to help Hannah get back on her feet. And I'll tell you what, folks, don't take any day for granted. Don't forget to tell your friends you love them. Don't forget to tell your family you love them. Be there for each other. Enjoy life, because it is too short. And I'll tell you, we've lost a lot of damn good people lately. I don't want to belabor a point, but just be good to each other. At the end of the day, we're out chasing a giant fucking ape. It doesn't have to be any more complicated or full of hate. Just respect each other, love one another, and have a good time. And from what I saw from Scott and his travels around the country and going to conferences, he's a man that served his country. So we do salute you, sir, and Godspeed for your service to our nation. And I definitely send our condolences to Hannah, who's a Facebook friend of mine as well. And you just saw the love and enthusiasm he put into Bigfoot going around the country. So we've had a lot of losses lately. And again, to all the friends of Scott and Hannah, our condolences from here from the Sasquatch Experience to all of you. Sometimes we wish you could be closer with people, folks. And this, we're geographically spread apart. But, again, our well wishes. And we do have Henry back here. Maybe we can get Henry to ask that question again. Go ahead, Henry.
Sorry, I got knocked offline briefly.
But you got up again.
Was it the feds?
It was the feds, yeah. Anyway, no, without giving too much away, was there any activity, or can you?
Yeah.
Activity.
Yes, there was.
Oh no.
You see, on the stinger right before the episode starts, it takes you right into the activity, and it gets you a good hook. And again, none of it is planned or determined. It was all natural as it happened, and we had no anticipation of it happening. In fact, Matt left, had to leave early that day, and I texted him that night, and he was pissed as all hell because he went home. He's like, son of a bitch, I left, and this happens. I'm like, I know. There is activity in the episode.
Yeah. And what really got me was I was walking out and I almost left the my thermal recorder with you guys, and I should have said, Sean, hey, you know what? Take this. I'll get it from you the next time. And I brought it home. So,
well, I mean, we did. I'll tell you, and I want to say more, and I can't. So
I know.
But I hope when you folks watch this and appreciate it, you all appreciate Aaron a little bit more after the fact.
Yes,
that's all I'm going to say.
The last episode is going to be amazing.
I hope so.
That's all I can say. We build it up, and boom, it really goes forward. But even with some of the stuff, and I could go back. I'm sure I could probably say this is we did evidence review from audio.
Right.
I had a wildlife acoustics radio sitting out in the Hammersley Fork area, not that far from where this tree was violently broken apart. Again, right down the road from it, and there's some audio in there, so that's all I can say.
Yeah, Henry, you'll have to go back and listen to my answer because I went into deep, but you'll be happy. There is some activity in there.
Yep.
Okay.
I love this. I love this from Brian. NDAs are just paperwork. Hey, but you know what? We did not sign any NDAs. That's the thing. We just signed away our likenesses, but we no NDAs, but we want you folks to enjoy this and watch it. We want, we want to enjoy the fruits of our labor for once. And I love Seth and I love the team at Small Town Monsters. I've supported them from the beginning. I've been a contributor to every Kickstarter. I, even sell their merchandise at the beginning at the tables when Seth needed to step away. And I remember working with Mama Breedlove there at the table, slinging shirts and DVDs. So for me, it's a privilege and an honor to be cataloged. And I've appeared in some of their, documentaries before, but this is the first time we were kind of featured, and it was real special. So
the spotlight is on you guys.
Well, it's more.
Sometimes people even forget that he's not Seth Breedlove.
Yeah, there is that lady that thinks that Seth and I are one and the same, and I don't know how that happens, but it does. But folks, that's it for the night. I mean, we've already hit that 10 o'clock hour. We hope you enjoyed it a little bit, gave you a little teaser. And it's laughter in the background. All right. The night's getting crazier, folks. Thank you for all tuning in. SasquatchExperience.com. Henry, take us out with those beautiful words.
Y'all be good or be good at it.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. You've been listening to the Sasquatch Experience. Please rate and review wherever this podcast is consumed. For more information, please go to our website, SasquatchExperience.com. Keep on squatching.